video is all about half double crochet. So I have a swatch here with 4 different rows of half double crochet in different colors so that we can kind of see what it looks like. And the anatomy of a half double crochet, the height of it is in between a single crochet and a double. So as you can see here, if you have any experience with stitches, it is taller than a single crochet, but not quite the height that you would typically get out of a double. So it's like the in-between. Half double, I know, is a strange thing. My husband's always like, isn't half of a double a single? And I'm like, not in crochet, it's not. A single crochet and a half double are definitely different when it comes to crochet. So the turning chain for a half double is a chain 2. So if I was working the next row here, I would chain 2 to keep working across. So let's work our next half double crochet. And I said I will chain 2. And this is just a practice swatch, so I have little short ends hanging out over here, although I could have just kept carrying my yarn like I did here. Now, it depends on the pattern and your preference if you want to count this chain 2 as this first stitch. You could, if it says to count it, you could use it here, skip this one and start working here. What I did and what I always do is I do not count the chain 2. So this swatch right here was done not counting the chain 2 as a stitch. I find it gives much more even edges. So to make a half double, get mine ready, you'll yarn over, insert your hook under both loops. Now, half double can get a little confusing. Sometimes people think this side here is the V and they want to put their hook here, but then that leaves this loop in the front. So that is not it. Actually, this loop back here is the back loop, is what they call it, which is caused from this yarn over. So you insert it right here in the hole with your V on there, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. See my 3 right here? Yarn over and pull through all 3. So again, you will yarn over, insert into the row or the chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. So it's super simple. And let's go ahead and talk about how to count your stitches in rows while we have this here. So let's take a look. From the front, you can see that there's a little V at the bottom. See a little V shape? And then a bar across. Bars here. When you count the top row, just like any other stitch, you can count these V's on top. I've worked 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also count the posts. Okay, so stitches, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this is 10 stitches wide. And then the rows, I really encourage you, and I've said it in the single crochet video, and I will say it again when we make all these different ones. I would encourage you to practice with different colors for each row. You do not have to cut them like I did. If you do 3 colors, you actually can carry it up the side. I took this picture for the post and I thought I was done with it, decided to use it, so that's why I have so many ends. But see how I did with this right here? I did the cream and then I left it there. I started the blue, or the teal here, started the pink, and then I wanted to do the cream again. So I just pulled it up to this height and worked across it. And then I would have done the same thing had I not cut my teal. I would have pulled it up. That's how you can do this without having a whole bunch of ends hanging out. But doing that really gives you a good feel for how the stitch looks, so that when you do work a swatch or any kind of project in one color, you can easily see the stitches, because the back of the stitch looks like this here, where you can see that ridge, that back loop. So when you're counting it, you know that the first row looks like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. that's very easy to do when you have different colors. But trust me, sometimes even though I know a lot about crochet and I've done it a lot, there's still been a few times that I'm like, oh, how many rows have I done? Another thing to keep in mind when you're counting rows is keep in mind where your tail is here. If you're heading towards your tail, you're working an odd row. If you're heading away from your tail, you're working even because you've chained. And then when you work back towards that slip knot, it's row 1. And then row 2 is working away from the tail. So the tail can help you when you're counting. All right, we're going to talk about working half double crochet in the round now. I've made a magic loop. There is a tutorial on that I will link to in the description. You chain 2. And now I'm not going to count that again. I'm going to work 6 stitches, just working the same stitch, the yarn over, insert, drop loop, yarn over, draw through 3. Okay. Mine is not cooperating. Okay, so 2 more. And unlike the single crochet where you really can work in a continuous spiral, the height of the other stitches makes it very hard to do so. So let me close mine here. So at the end of each round, if you're working in half double crochet, you will have to slip stitch. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that way, if you count around, you'll start getting used to what it looks like. I'm not going to count my turning chain. If you did, you would put it right here, your slip stitch. But mine is the first stitch. So I'm going to slip stitch here. And that makes a round. So each time you'll chain 2, work the required number of stitches, and then join with the slip stitch. So it's really easy to work half double crochet in the round. And you'll see it used a lot in hats and some other projects like that. Sometimes amigurumi, and you can use it for a lot of different things like that. So always start with a chain 2 and slip stitch into the first stitch. When increasing for a half double crochet, you simply work more than 1 stitch into the stitch or space indicated. So let's say it said half double crochet 2, which I've done, 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. I would work 1, and right in the exact same space, work another. So it's super easy to increase with it. I'm going to take this out. Let's say it calls for a decrease. There are several ways to do this, and it's part of its personal choice, and part of it may particularly tell you a certain type. Half double crochet 2 together, there are 2 options. Here's the regular way. Yarn over, insert in the first stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop. So I've got 3 loops, just like I was making a regular half double crochet. Then yarn over again, insert in the second stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop. Now I have 5 loops on my hook, and I'll yarn over and draw through all. And do the next one. I always like to do the next stitch because it kind of shows the decrease better. So there it is. To me, that's kind of bulky, and I'm not a big fan of it, so you can work with what's called a skinny half double crochet decrease. So let's yarn over, insert in the first stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop. And instead of yarning over again, we're going to skip that. You just insert in the next stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop. 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, and draw through all. I actually love to do it this way. I've been doing it for a long time, and then I found out that it could be called like a skinny half double crochet decrease. Okay, so I'm gonna take this one out because I'm gonna show you the invisible, which if you're working some kind of pattern in the round, or say I was closing up the top of a hat, I probably would use this right here. You want to yarn over and see the V here, this stitch. It's got 2 loops, a front loop and a back loop. We're going to insert in the front loop only. So split the stitch right in the middle and then do the same thing to the next stitch. So you can see I've got my original loop of my hook, my yarn over, and these are the 2 front loops of these 2 stitches. Now I'm going to yarn over, draw through 2, just like I was drawing up a loop. So I have 3 loops on my hook like normal, yarn over, and draw through all. And that is the invisible decrease. And personally, I like this one too. And I use it because it looks a lot more uniform than this. So those are 3 different ways that you can decrease with the half double crochet. And the last thing we're going to talk about today is how to keep your edges even. So you can see the edges on this piece, especially if you move that back there, are pretty even. And the reason is I am not counting my chain 2 as a stitch. I honestly hate working into a turning chain. So when we talk about double crochet, I'll show you the chainless double crochet, which is awesome and keeps you from having to work into that chain 3. Because honestly, when I come back to a turning chain, I have to like use my fingernail to get, into the loops. So I don't want to work with it. I don't want to mess with it. I have found that it makes my edges uneven. So I'll ignore it. It's just, it's still there, chain 2, but like I said, I work into the stitch and it just kind of hangs out. My pink one here, same thing. It's kind of over here on the side and I ignored it. So you can do that and it'll give you nice, even edges. I find my edges are so much more even when I simply work in this. So if you're working a pattern that tells you to count the chain 2, now what I would do, like on this one, I did work into the chain 2 right here because I chained 12, which is a 10 stitch wide swatch. I chained 12 and then worked across. When I came back, I did use my fingernail to get it in there. And then ever since then, I have just chain 2 and ignored the chain 2 all the way down. So that will help give you a lot more even edges, which obviously is something we all would like. So when you're working that way, work down here to the end and show you. I said I found that I just liked it so much better. There was no chain to work into and mine looked better. Because let's say if we were coming down here and we were working into the turning chain, you would have to put a stitch here and then work into a loop. It's pain, honestly. So I ignore it. Like I said, and I have found my results are so much better, so much happier just being this way. So that's the biggest common problem with half double crochet that people have told me about, is the edges being uneven. So just try it this way, and I think that you'll find a lot better results. So that's everything that I can think of we can cover for the half double crochet stitch. There are lots of other great stitch tutorials and also pattern tutorials on my channel, so please subscribe and like this video. And then head on over to love.life.yarn.com where you can find more than 140 free patterns. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.